So there's this guy, and he takes public transportation to work every day because he's a responsible fella. Um, so he takes the subway, and then he takes the subway to his stop, and then he gets on a bus. And he takes the bus to his stop, right? Um, so he's waiting at the subway station, and he runs into this really weird looking guy, He's got like a top hat on, like a full tuxedo, like he looks like he's straight out of the 1920s or whatever. And he's really curious, so he goes up to the guy and he's like, "Hey, I can't help but notice, you seem. I want to know what you do for a living, that you dress like that." And so the guy goes, "Oh, well, I'm a professor of logic." And the guy,
Match
he's a real
found.
idiot, so he goes, "What the is logic? Never heard of it before." So this Mr. Professor goes, "Well, it's easier for me to explain with an example, okay? Do you have a doghouse?" And the guy says, "Yeah, I got a doghouse, built it myself." And the professor goes, "Okay, so then if you have a doghouse, that probably means, you have a family." This guy's a little old-fashioned. Nowadays, it's not so much the case, but, to an old-fashioned guy, maybe dogs more a family guy. And the guy says, "Yeah, yeah, I have a family." And the professor says, "So that means that you probably have children, too." And he goes, "Yeah, got 2 kids." And the guy says, the professor says, "Okay, so if you have children, that probably means you have a wife, right?" So the guy says, "Yeah, I do have a wife." And the professor says, "Well, that means that you're a heterosexual." So using logic, based on the fact that you had a doghouse, I derived that you are a heterosexual. Now, this joke's a little nowadays that wouldn't necessarily work so well, but in this case, it was correct. And the guy says, "Wow, that's incredible," And the subway comes, and this guy, he goes off to catches his subway, and then he walks to his bus stop, and he runs into his coworker there, friend of his. He starts chatting him up before they go to work. He's like, "Hey, I met this really interesting guy on my way to work today on the subway." And coworker says, "Oh yeah, tell me about it, right?" Guy goes, "Yeah, he says he was a professor of logic, and his coworker's also a f***ing idiot." And so he goes, "What the f*** is logic?" And the guy goes, "Well, let me give you an example, okay? Do you own a doghouse?" And the coworker goes, "No." And the guy goes, "Oh, you're one of them f***ing f***ings. Didn't know that."
I knew that's where it was going.